Yo, what's up, everybody? This your boy, D757 Dark Man for D757 Gaming. We are back with the crew, the RTP crew, to yet again rate another game called Leyline Chronicles by Dekay Studios. You guys know who I am already. You know I'm D7, and I like to introduce my co-host, Psychronic Games and Simple Gaming.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
All right. So, what's special about this game, guys? This is a community wheel pick game. So, the developer, Leyline Chronicles, aka Dekay Studios, who's the developer, actually won the community spin. So just like all games, we had a week to play the game and play the game, try it out for ourselves, and see what kind of feedback can we give to the developer. Is it good feedback, bad feedback? We don't know. So I hope you guys, got your snack, could sit around and just, enjoy the show. Alright, so Leyline Chronicles is a RPG Maker MZ commercial to be game by Dekay Studios. The synopsis of the game is ley lines. These mystical and omnipresent energy flows connect everything in the universe. They house the eternal power that can be used to create, but also to destroy. Therefore, attempts have been made to master and manipulate these energies since the beginning of time. Many stories are entwined around this power that is inherent in them and around those who can use this power. The Ley Sensitives, living beings with great supernatural abilities, which in some cultures was understood as magic. All these stories were kept in archives, the so-called Leyline Chronicles. Now it is time for a new chapter. So this is Leyline Chronicles 2. It is a sequel to the original Leyline Chronicles 1. Alright, so me, myself, Simple Gaming and Psychronic, had pretty much a week to play this, and today we're going to tell you our thoughts about the game. So, let's start with how the story, like what is a Leyline Chronicle or a Ley Sensitive Individual? It is a new definition that you don't hear all the time, like remember Final Fantasy, they had the l'Cie and stuff like that. So what is a Ley Sensitive Individual? Will Psychronic like to start?
Sure. Well, as for what a ley sense, it seems that there's these people that are able to tap into this energy to some extent of the ley lines. And the chronicles are different stories of different ley sensitive people who and the game kind of gives you, in the beginning of this game, they give you kind of a choice of 3 different planets. You do play in all the different planets, but one is kind of a medieval setting, another is kind of a futuristic setting, and another one is like a Magic Academy type setting. I don't really know much. I didn't play the first game, so I'm sure there's a little bit of plot that I'm not aware of, but I didn't feel like I needed to play the first game to enjoy this title. The beginning kind of, I'm guessing the beginning here that we're seeing right now on the screen is is maybe the boss from the first game, and kind of like the closure from the first game before starting this new adventure. I will say that I did enjoy this game. I thought the story was interesting. I also thought that when I was watching it randomly, you know, like, because sometimes I watch for a few minutes and then do something else, and then come back and watch for a few minutes and do something else. If I'm like watching it on somebody else's stream, like D7s or something, and I noticed that that playing the game is different than watching the game, because like when I come in randomly, if it's out of context, it doesn't make sense, and I'm like, wait, is this a futuristic game or is this a medieval game? And then when I played it, it made sense, and I actually liked the variety in setting for how they pulled this off, as far as the tying that story together. So I still don't know a lot about the Ley Sensitives, or specifically why they're being gathered, or anything like that. It seems like the people from the last game are the Ashton and who else are like hunting down the remnants of the previous villain, but to what end, I'm not quite sure yet, but I was enjoying the journey. I did finish the demo. I played all 3 planets. I can say I think that the game is not quite done yet, but I think that there's a lot of potential there. And there were some things I liked, some things I didn't, but overall I thought it was a good experience. And I can see it getting better too, but that's kind of my rough impressions.
All right. Thank you, Psychronic Games. Let's ask this Germanator what he feels. What is a Leyline sensitive individual to him?
Man, I hate that term. It sounds so weird. To me, like from what I gathered, a Ley Sensitive is pretty much just a mage. Like, it is those special types of people that can like cast like massive spells and stuff like that. So the game explained that pretty much everybody has a certain access to these ley lines, but to a very limited extent. And these Ley Sensitives, on the other hand, are like, you know, those are the real mages, pretty much, that can just devastate towns and whatnot. Okay. I guess that's all the info I got. Okay. I only played a little bit of one planet, mainly because the game didn't run really well on my PC. Like I never really topped 30 FPS, and the game would speed up and slow down depending on how many frames I'd get. So it was a little bit hard to enjoy it when it's at varying speeds like that.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah. My PC struggled with this.
So this is another Charles Cascadia hardware eater-upper for some machines.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad on Cascadia. Like, the version I played wasn't too bad. Like, I don't remember any frame drops, but this one is heavy. Like, I never reached like anything above 30 FPS. Like, never. Not even on the map that's on the screen right now.
That's rough.
Like, even this map lagged already.
That's rough. That is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, and for me, I didn't get much lag. You can see, because this gameplay video is my playthrough, and so it seems pretty smooth when I'm looking at it. I was looking at the frame rates a few times too, and it seemed to be going at the full frames on my computer. But my computer's kind of a beast, so so I might have, the problems might be there, but I didn't run into them because of my computer being fast enough.
It was relatively fine on the maps because, RPG Maker still only uses 3 frames anyway, so even if you got 30 FPS, it's still as smooth as RPG Maker usually is, because there's just 3 frames of animations anyway. It doesn't get any smoother.
Yeah.
So... But yeah, it's somehow tied to the game's speed as well. So I could see my character walking slower and faster depending on my frame rates, which made it really weird because it felt like slow motion most of the time. So that's what made it like hard to play. If it was just laggy, well. But the game speed in general slowed down too, and it was especially jarring in the combat where the animation would play after the damage has already happened. Like when I did these ultimate spells, the damage would happen, and then afterwards it would do this screen-wide animation, and there was no damage, which made it like really underwhelming.
That is
because
bad.
I have this huge animation and the screen shake and everything going on, and there's just no damage happening because of the desync of the animation and the damage numbers. It looked weird, but yeah, apparently according to the dev, it has to do with the frame rate too. So yeah, the combat system gets out of sync with its animations if you have poor frame rate. So that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So different machines, different performances for this type of game, because RPG Maker, it's a 2D pretty much game. There's not really a whole bunch of 3D stuff going around. So maybe your problem could have came from the VS Lighting plugin. A lot of parallel events.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like apparently the VS Lighting stuff is very heavy performance wise, but on the other hand, like I get the problem as a developer myself, but as a player, I don't give a shit. Like I expect a 2D game to run on a toaster.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, right now this game is not done yet. It's basically
it's a demo. Right.
It's a demo.
It is a demo. It is a demo. So.
I mean, it is a demo, but as fellow developers ourselves, how much can the developer of this game actually do with like confiscated Visual Stellar code anyway?
Yeah. So basically,
how's it gonna fix it, right? So is it really gonna improve over time? I don't know. Unless Visu improves their plugins, I guess. I don't see how the developer himself could fix it. Aside from like not having it,
or using a different plugin that fulfills the same
maybe
purpose.
that.
So the game is a little bit resource heavy, especially with the lighting plugin, the weather plugin, everything. It's just a lot of stuff running in the background that can definitely hinder your performance. Yeah. But the game, you got to give credit to the developer. Even Leyline Sensitive. Leyline Sensitives, is a unique term, but the definition is somewhat generic because, it's just like Harlequin said, it's another word for a mage, people that knows how to use ancient magic or just magic in general, supernatural abilities without the use of special devices.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, but also it was creative in the way that they said it. They said that some cultures describe it as magic. So it might. I guess that's where the sci-fi one comes in, because they might recognize it as something. The people of that world might recognize it as something different than magic.
Because in each scenario, you're in the world that's different. You're in the medieval world, you're in the world in the future, and you're in the world where magic is common. But it's those who excel, like for in Magia. Let's talk about the Magia world with Tyria Iribe, the magic girl. She had the knack for magic, and her teachers saw that. Her teachers felt like, you're going to ace this exam and stuff like that. So the depths of the game in general, I never played the first part. I never played part 1, given the fact that the game was originally in German. I don't speak German. I speak the English language. But the developer put in the game where you could check out the previous history of the first game that could roll over into the second game. I mean, you don't have to read it, but if you want the true backstory, you can read it to get caught up on the characters Lambert, Quincas, and Maev. The guy with the blue hair, and the girl with the cape, that walking around in each town saying, hey, you're Ley Sensitive, stuff like that, whatever. So let's talk about the Magic City, the school, the Magic School. Um, okay, it's like, and if y'all guys looking at the screen, you see 3 different worlds. You got World Tefania, World Magenta, and World Causes. We're gonna talk about the events in World Magenta first. I'm not sure what Psychronic picked.
I picked Cross first.
Okay, he picked Cost first. So you want to talk about Cost then?
Since it's going into it.
Since it's going into it. All right, let's talk about the World Cost. The World Cost is it's like a futuristic town where you play as an individual called Levi Daniels. You know, he's an NPC that uses not an NPC, he's like a main character that uses guns as his main choice of weapons. So this is where the game becomes very unique in terms of gameplay. You know, each character, you know, that you pick, they have their own feel, like especially in the battle, you know, because Levi, he got guns, he got reload, but his world is full of sci-fi, science fiction, and stuff like that. And since Psychronic Games love sci-fi, we gonna start with him, and he gonna describe, you know, what he thought about the World Cost when he played it.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice little sci-fi world, kind of a cyberpunk dystopia to some extent. The technology brought all kinds of new things, but they exploited the resources too much, and they're able to tap into the Leyline energy for like some of their technology, things like that. In this world, you know, Levi starts off where he's basically looking for his brother who went missing. And you know, you're basically trying to find clues of what happened to him. And there he is on the screen right now. And then you run into and then when you're in this world, basically there's some kind of package that his brother was trying to get that had information in it or whatever. You don't know what it is at first, and so this leads you kind of down the path of finding the boss, who ends up being like the person who runs the city, like ends up being like the kingpin who runs the city.
Yeah.
And on your journey to find him, it leads to you finding what's her name from the first game, I forget what her name is.
Maya.
Maya. So Maya pops up in this game, and she has abilities. So all these different ley sensitives have different abilities. So you can see Levi with his gun here, but Maya has a different ability where she can appear invisible to people she doesn't want to see her, or she can, you know, do like little mind control tricks on them, like you know, oh, you will get out of the way. Oh yes, of course. You know, when they normally wouldn't get out of the way, you know. So she finds you, or she finds Levi, and after that they find this guy, and it has to do with the piece of paper that that opens a ley portal that goes to another realm. I still don't know exactly where that realm is, but it's kind of a common pattern with all of the 3 worlds lead to that. You know, the person from those worlds going through the portal. And this is the cross scenario, which is, you know, more sci-fi-esque.
Yeah. Levi is a character that pretty much you know, can definitely be a fan favorite amongst, you know, RPG players, because one, his popularity, you know, he's well respected, he's well feared, you know, his name ring bells, and especially the guns, you know, the guns and how the combat system work. and his ability, his natural abilities when he used the guns and stuff like that. So, as you guys are watching the screen, you may notice the combat system. How unique the combat system is. We have like time inputs pretty much, or combinations based on your LP. Is it LP? Your lay
Yes.
points. Yeah, your lay points. Each ability that you do, it costs a lay point. You could do combos, you could do dual combos and stuff like that. So the game is really unique in terms of combat. We got beautiful low sprites. If y'all don't know, these are sprites done by Low, and we got astral sequencing with the animation, the effects animations. So in terms of combat, guys, what y'all guys think about the combat system, like all in general, tie in with the gameplay and stuff? Let's start.
Sorry.
Oh, you go ahead, brother. You go ahead.
Yeah, I actually liked the combat system. I liked it because it felt a little different than what I normally see. Because I've played a lot of RPGs, so sometimes a lot of the games have like a sameness to them. Like, I've seen this a million times before, or whatever. But this game had a unique experience. I will say, to me, it felt a little easy. But I don't know if it's because when I first played the game, if I accidentally picked story mode or expert mode, because I meant to pick expert mode, but it wasn't clear enough which one I was picking when I was going back and forth, and so it might have been too easy because I might have picked story mode, but I'm not quite sure. But I did enjoy the combat system. Yeah, the combos were cool. It did start to feel a little repetitive after a while. But it wasn't bad. It was just like, oh yeah, I know the routine. Combo this, combo that, up, down, left, right. But it did provide a unique enough experience where it didn't feel like just another RPG Maker slap it together battle system. So, but I did feel it was a little on the easy side.
All right, so we know the game. We know our boy Simple Gaming with his WASD movement. Every game needs WASD control. But unfortunately, the way the battle system is set up, WASD is basically impossible. So, Simple Gaming, what do you?
I don't know why that was said. I played with WASD mode, no problem.
Okay.
Like you can just enable WASD mode in the plugin. It works fine. The only issue I found is like the descriptions on the pictures when you like choose your combos, right? They have a button icon on that, right? With which button to press to use that certain combo. So that's wrong. If you change the keyboard layout, that's the wrong button showing. Yeah. And sometimes they wouldn't even have a button, so I'm not sure what that was about, but the buttons on themselves, they work fine. Like the way they are laid out on the screen, you can tell which one is like D and which one is A and W and S. Mm-hmm. You can play WASD layout just fine.
Yeah. But
I don't know what the big fuss was about.
You feel like the developer should include it like in the descriptive for those individuals that play WASD, correct?
No. The gameplay is completely fine with WASD. Okay. I don't see why it was said it's not possible. It plays just fine.
Okay.
You're just saying that when it's showing which combos are available, it might show like arrow left key when the A key actually works. It's just that it shows arrow left instead.
Yeah, whenever they had buttons on them, like not all of the choices had a button on them, which was kind of weird. But yeah, the buttons showed were not the right buttons at the end of the day. Yeah, but at the same time, I would probably just not put any buttons there. Like the layout is self-explanatory. You know exactly what direction to put in order to use whatever combo you want to. There is no need for like a button icon on these things, I feel.
Well, the extra abilities that you get, it goes it goes to the triggers, the bumpers. I think that would be page scroll up and down.
Yeah, page up and down.
keyboard.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't checked out the controller. I just went in there and activated WASD and played like that, and it works fine.
Yeah. So
it's just the buttons are like displayed wrong. If there are some, like I don't really know. Like some had none, some had like the wrong input, and some had like the correct input. I feel like I don't know. It was a bit weird, but I found a whole bunch of shit that's not quite right. So we'll get into that too, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, the combat system to me, I feel like it was unique. To be for a commercial game, he's definitely going in the right direction. Trying to win over, fans that love a unique battle system. He's definitely winning in that area. It's just I do agree with Psychronic. The battles. I mean, don't get me wrong. The battles are strategic, especially when you're fighting the bosses. They do have weaknesses. They do have exploitation. I believe. Do this game have like the Octopath, the weakness exploitation in this game?
Yes.
It just don't have the boost mechanic, but it does have the weakness. I feel like it worked, especially with the the dual skills too. The game is definitely balanced.
Yeah, I had my fair fun with the battles. Like I played on expert mode too. And I did also die once, and I was like, but the reason I died was like your attention in the battle is always drawn to the right side of the screen because that's where the prompts pop up, right, for the combos.
True.
So you're always looking on the right side of the screen, and the battle HUD is tiny. Like the HP bars are tiny as fuck. So I just forgot about to look at them because I was looking at the right side of the screen checking my combos, right?
Yeah.
and then I suddenly died because oops, my HP were low without me noticing.
That happens.
Well, also, funny you should mention that too, because I found that happening. That I don't want to say ding it a little bit, but what was happening was I was looking at the right side of the screen to look at my combos, and sometimes I wouldn't even see them, attack the enemy, or I wouldn't even see the action because I'm looking at the right side of the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
So you feel like the combat should be centered, like the input should be like somewhere in the center, because Xenogears did it like that. Even though you're on the right side, and the enemy's on the left side, but when you go towards the enemy to do your combos, it's like right there. Like you could focus on your HP, the enemy, and the combo input instead of just being on one sided where you just looking at the combos and not paying attention to anything else, and you're like, I'm low on health, you know what I'm saying? Or what's the enemy about to do? Something like that. So.
Right, like sometimes I would try to look at it, but it would the action would happen too fast for me to look right and then left again, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the HUD is not ideal. I feel like there's so much shit going on the HUD. Like you have the turn things, right? The turn indicators, which I never liked this style of turn indicator. Like, why is there 2 bars? I don't know. I feel it's a little bit excessive. And then you got this gauge on the left, which I don't even know what it is because, of course, I skipped the tutorials as I always do. Then you got the tiny gauges on the images for the characters, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 gauges that are tiny on the HUD. Like you gotta check all that information. Like it's still a turn-based game. It's a strategic game. Why is the information accessed so poorly, right? I need to focus so hard to get the information I need when the HUD is there to make the information available to me at a glance.
Gotcha.
I feel like, and for the prompts, for the combo prompts, I feel like they should be maybe on the character. At least that works for melee characters, right? When it jumps for the enemy, like make the prompts around the character. that's doing the prompts. But yeah, I guess that wouldn't really work on ranged characters either. So I'm not really sure where to put them. Like, you could put them on the center of the screen, I guess, but that wouldn't make much of a difference, I suppose. They're fairly big. Like the button the button prompts are as big as the entire HUD for a character, which is a little odd too. Like you draw so much attention to these prompts that everything else on the screen gets ignored because you're constantly looking on the right side, looking for these button prompts, and you're not looking at the turn counter, you're not looking at the other gauge on the left side, you're not looking at the HUD for your characters, you're always looking to the right side of the screen, and everything else just blends together. Like you're not even watching the action because you're watching for the button prompts.
Yeah, because it's on a timer as well.
It's not really a harsh timer. Like you got plenty of time to pick, but yeah, you constantly focus your attention on the right side of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so the action gets missed, the rest of the HUD gets missed. It's not really a good HUD design, I feel. I'm not sure how to fix it per se, but right now that's not really good. Like HUD for me should be simple and clearly convey the information necessary, like what's my HP, what's my MP, what's my lay points, whatever. Like those things should be clearly visible at a glance, which is not the case because obviously I missed to check out my HP because it was so out of focus that I just didn't notice it.
Yeah, I guess the fact that he got so much going on, you got your
There's too much shit going on.
You got your lay points, then you got your the other gauge for your specials, then you got your health, then I'm talking about the gauge that you use to do like tag team moves and your ultimate attacks and stuff like that. Like you got a lot going on, so you're paying attention.
That's not even considering the action.
To that too. You're paying attention to that. So your eyes is definitely darting everywhere on the battle screen. You got a lot going on, like for the battle. I mean, it's nothing to complain about because I love it, but you got those individuals that not gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? They feel they wanted the simple life. They want stuff simplified.
Well, also, I did enjoy the battle system and everything like that. If I were just to critique it a little bit, though, like of just few interface changes so that you are both able to look at the HUD and see the other action as well. So, like, I did notice that like the characters like HP and LP bar is like kind of tiny, like for where it's at on the screen, and there's little adjustments that can be made that would, I think, make it better, but it didn't really bother me or anything.
It's not a deal breaker by any means, of course, but like there's the HUD itself is already a lot going on, and it's not only the HUD. Like that's not even considering the action that's going on the screen. Like there's screen-wide animations and there's action going on there too, and then you have like fog effects and everything that kind of blend the HUD into the screen as well. Like it makes it hard to find the information at a glance that you need. Like that's at least a struggle I had. Like I started in the Magic Academy world, and in the forest had this constant like fog effect going on.
Oh my gosh!
And like there is so much shit on the screen in the battle. I don't even know what to look for first.
Hey, I'm telling you, in the Magic world, that fog. Oh man. I don't know if I'm fighting the fog or the enemies. For real.
Yeah, the fog makes it worse. Like not only have you all this action going on the screen in the battle scene. Because I have this fog, and then you have this fog on these tiny ass gauges everywhere, and it's like, wait, what's that number again? How much HP do I have?
Dekay.
What's that down there?
Dekay Studios. We like, coming after you about that fog.
Yeah, but like I also had to figure out the combat system because I didn't read the tutorial because I always want to check how how hard is it for the player to just figure it out on their own, right?
Yeah, I like to play like that too. Yeah.
So that's what I usually do, is just I just give every fucking tutorial and then just try to figure it out, because I feel like a game system should ideally be easy enough to let the player figure it out on their own. Like at first I was like, what the fuck is that doing? What's blocking? What's guts? What's this and that? Like I just figured it out by playing the game, which I prefer much over a fucking tutorial screen.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I died because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like I was just picking block every time, and then my block broke or something. Like it said broke, and then I was like, huh, what's going on? And then over time, though, I figured out relatively how the system worked, and then I didn't die anymore because I did things right. So it definitely works.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the HUD is a little yeah. Aside from that, I did like the battle system. Like, it's not too complicated. I don't have to read pages and pages of stats and states and whatnot. I can just go in and slay some creeps, and that's good.
Yeah. So the developer, you already know, individual gonna have different opinions about your battle system. Like the battle HUD, you got the HP all the way at the bottom, and it's hard to look at. You know what I'm saying? So your HP should stand out regardless out of everything else. Your HP need to stand out. I can see on the map you got room to probably put it to the side and maybe have it disappear, like when you put your combos in and stuff like that.
Yeah, that might sound like a good idea.
Probably do it like that. But I mean, I guess it's a case by case scenario based on the preference of your player. I mean, I don't think it's too bad, especially when you get more characters involved. 4 or 5 battlers on one screen. So, maybe this is the simplest way that you can do it. So
it's not easy to design a HUD like that when you got so much shit. Like, you got the button inputs for the attacks, you need the block inputs, and on top of the HUD too. Like, it is not easy to design, but maybe you're onto something, like putting the player gauges to the right and then just fade them out whenever a skill happens. Whenever you need the prompts, fade out the character progress and the gauges, right? So they're not in the way, and you clear up the screen so you can actually see what action is going on instead of always just looking.
Developer said he should increase the HP bar size.
Yeah, that's like a band-aid fix though. Like, the HUD is not ideal anyway, regardless of how big the HP gauge is.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He has a lot. He has a lot going on. I think, not trying to throw Brent Rawson under the bus, but he had that same issue with his game, because when you got a game with a lot of stuff going on, especially action sequencing and animation and weather effects, everything looks clean. That's probably one of the hardest things to do, try to figure out, how your battle HUD is going to look. Especially, you got extra stuff like the inputs. You got pictures on pictures on pictures on pictures, and calling different scenes and stuff all on one. You know what I mean? So yeah, I could definitely see the chore. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when you design your battle HUD or your battle system, because it's because in my case anyway, you're not looking at one thing. You're actually looking at a mix of 30 different plugins that do completely different things and are unrelated to each other, that look like they're one thing but they're not.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like sometimes it's easy to make a change. Sometimes it's like I don't know how to get into the guts of that to change that. But
I don't think it's going to get changed, because the type of the developer, he's from Germany, and we know, from experience how simple game it is with his game. So I don't think this is going to change. I mean, it do look nice though. Like, To be honest, I would have a hard time considering the changes, regardless of what the developer went through to even get it how like this in the first place. So I mean, it looks great. But my only complaint is the HP bar is a little bit too small for me. That should definitely stand out. If not, maybe allow the player to add the HP bar to their battler. Don't know. How people could tog in, show HP bar for their battler or not, or they could just rely on the hub HP.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd like to see the HP bar on, above the character or whatever. If it was me, but
it might look jank though. He probably it might look jank.
It wouldn't look nice anymore. That's for sure.
Oh man!
Yeah, as I said, I don't know how to quite fix the HUD, but it needs a little fixing. I feel like all the gauges are too small. Like I could barely even read the numbers on them. Like what does it even say? What gauge is this? Like, I was trying to figure out the combat system, and I'm looking at these gauges, and I don't even know what they say on them. It's just a gauge. I can read what's on there. What is this? Does it say LP? I don't know. It's so tiny. So yeah, it's not just the HP bar, it's just the gauges in general are really small.
Yeah.
One thing about the combat system though, like I feel like it how do I say this? It discouraged like skill usage. I don't know. Like I didn't use a single skill in the game. I just went with the combos all the time. Like I don't even know why there was a skill like in the game. maybe these do special effects or something. I don't know.
The skills are like debuffs. They could be buffs. They could be buffs and debuffs. Let's say for a fire skill, if the enemy's on fire, you'll do extra damage with the combo. So it acts as debuffs and buffs in some instances.
So it's state inflicting stuff.
Yeah, it's tied into the strategic value of the battle system. So he definitely did a great job with that. Like one character,
the combo system just seemed too good for me to even check them out. Like maybe what you could do is like put the skills into the combo system. Like if you do a certain sequence of different attacks in your combo, have this debuff apply.
Yes.
I feel there is no need for a skill category that's just doing one skill and then that's it. Like,
that's how I
tried it like once.
Man.
I did like what was it, a freeze thing, and it said like freeze, and then it was frozen. But that's underwhelming. I can do like 4 combos and just annihilate that motherfucker instead. Why would I use freeze? I would incorporate that into the combo and just get rid of the entire skill category. Like if I do like 2 ices and a third ice, then it's gonna freeze. And if I don't do 3 ice in a row, then it's not gonna freeze. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Put that into the combo system that you already set up. Like lean into that combo system instead of making a combo system and then attack on like menu-based skill thing.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like
that's not fitting.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like you do like different sequences. You'll do like a actual combo. Let's say you pick up, left, up, and at the last minute, he'll do like a combo that have a buff or debuff or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Let the player figure out.
Exactly. That's how I would have expected it in a system like that. Like you can pick like earth thighs and cross scythe and whatnot with the wolf guy.
But I can't back them up.
I was expecting it. Like if I put earth and then like a fire scythe or whatever that other attack was, and then it's gonna do like a special effect or like a debuff or a state or whatever. But that's not what happens. What happens is you gotta choose a skill like a regular RPG Maker game to make that happen.
But I can't back them up. It works. It works though. It's an extra step, but it works.
Yeah, it works. But to me, the skill category just feels tagged on because it doesn't really feed into that combo system, which is like the main selling point of the combat. Like, why?
Yeah. All right, so we all agree the combat system, you know, it definitely needs some tweaking. Like, not like the system itself, but probably the visual of the HUD and stuff like that. You know, it needs a little bit tweaking. But overall, the game itself, you know, like, he did have some gameplay. It does have some gameplay mechanics, like puzzles and side quests and all that good stuff, and on-screen items and stuff like that. When I played this game, I started playing the school Magenta. I believe that's the name of the world. Oh man, that's probably one of the worst worlds that you could start off with.
Yeah, Magenta is pretty much RPG Maker standard world.
Yeah, in terms of keeping your player entertained, because school games are boring. I'm trying to tell you, bro. School games are freaking boring. Don't get me wrong. School games are freaking boring because it's like you're in school. You gotta listen to the teacher lecture. You gotta talk about exams. You gotta walk around. You gotta go to a library. Every RPG Maker game and they mama that has a school game, you gotta go to a library. You have to. Like, every game that I played that has a school in it, go to the library, check out a book.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
That's a developer's choice, though. Like, a school game doesn't need to be boring. The Magenta world was boring because nothing fucking happened ever.
Then
like
you got NPCs that's staring at you. You hitting X. You hitting X all day long. X. They ain't saying jack to you. They're not saying nothing. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I thought the game was broke for a second. You know what I'm saying? I thought the game was broken.
Yeah, and that's actually one area that I think that the game could use some serious improvement on is the NPCs. Not only having more NPCs actually say stuff, but the ones that do say stuff having like because the ones that have a face, that was a lot more impactful than the ones without faces. And there was a lot of NPCs that didn't say a single thing. They just were, it was just nothing, right? So I don't know. I think that could be improved for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go against you two guys here and say I actually like it when the NPCs shut the fuck up. Like, I don't want to read every meaningless thing an NPC has to say. I don't need no extra itty bitty lore or whatever. Most NPCs in most games say bullshit. Like, it's not something you need to know. There's not even information most of the time. Like, they're just telling you about their daily lives that don't matter at all. I don't need to read that. Like, if you want to go on with a quest, I appreciate it if the game doesn't let me talk to every fucking NPC I meet. I prefer it if it's just.
Are you serious right now? Are you serious?
I actually like when you can talk to the NPCs and not, of course, not having it be where you have to, but like where there's some little tidbits from talking with them that might be interesting or funny or.
Nah, I've not seen an RPG Maker game where the game was so good that I actually cared about talking to NPCs.
Look, I don't care if it says ... They said something. At least give me something. Man. You know what I'm saying? Want to tell you, cause look, you got an NPC that's standing there like a statue, and they don't have no dialogue. That looks bad. That doesn't look good.
Just do something, but I don't know. You're not talking to a random stranger on the street and
now. If they had like little balloon icons, like they're walking around, maybe they're in a rush or show different moods, then yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, they do have little balloons.
They just standing there. Look, they just standing there and not moving.
Or they could say,
and not saying nothing.
Or they could say like, "Why? Like, who are you? Why are you so close to me?"
They have little emote balloons now.
And you're in the school. You're in the school. Everybody got something to say in the school.
I don't know,
Everybody.
man. I was talking to nobody in my
You know
school.
what I'm saying? Come on,
I
man.
mean, they have balloons now in the new version, but they're still not moving. So the thing
Yeah,
I had with
yeah.
the school is like, there's nothing going on. Like, if I'm in a school game, then let me fucking do some school things. Like, let me do like a physics lesson, or let me do some mini games. Like, let me train my magic or whatever the school is about. Like, let me do school things, and not just let me sit there and watch three people talk that's sitting sideways on a fucking stool and nothing happens. Like that's why school games are boring, because nothing is happening. You're just reading dialogue for no reason and running into a library for some books or whatever. That's boring. Like, give me gameplay in school settings. Why do you not have gameplay? It's the same with this game. Like, running around, like, there's nothing going on. The NPCs don't move. They don't talk. There's nothing to do but to follow the main quest. There's no lessons to take. There's no nothing gameplay wise. Just running around. It's like RPG Maker default game. It's running around talking to people. That's gameplay.
It started to get interesting when the conspiracy, was starting to come about in that world. But at first, yeah, kind of in that.
It picks up once you talk to the blue guy, right? Because that's where. But the thing is, that makes you only interested into the blue guy. You're not incentivized to go around and explore the area, because there's nothing to explore. Like, it's just dead people standing around, right? So the only thing interesting is the blue guy, so you follow only the blue guy. You don't need to run around these rooms and talk to people and check out shit if you can find anything, or I don't know. There's no conspiracy for you to figure out. It's just follow the blue guy.
True.
But then after you follow the blue guy, you get some kind of weird eyeball creature thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing that happens.
Well, you do that.
It's one cutscene with the eye guy.
Yeah.
Where is my gameplay though? The gameplay starts in the forest.
But it did get
better.
better.
A whole lot of stuff before then.
It did get better. It did get better with the wolf guy.
Get better, sure.
Yeah, it got a lot better. But I think you're an hour in, 40 minutes into the game.
At least 30 minutes into the game before you even reach the forest and like fight your first battle. And I don't know. It's okay when you meet the blue guy at first, because that sparks the whole conspiracy thing. That's cool. So you follow that guy, and from there on out it gets better and better, because there's something to look forward to. Before that point, it's just, okay, you're some kind of weird belly dancer student girl which is gonna do an exam. Okay, nobody cares. And nothing's going on. There's no gameplay, no lessons to take, no magic mini games or whatever. So that's 30 minutes where you just run around and looking for what you have to do or not.
And what y'all guys think about the puzzles?
Man, I didn't see any puzzles aside from the put the ice balls in the lake, in the river. That's all I did.
I thought that the puzzles were reasonable. They weren't too hard, weren't too easy. They were kind of easy, but you had to think a little bit. But it wasn't that bad. Yeah,
good puzzle, good little gameplay mechanics. To keep the player busy in between. In the dungeon and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're gonna see some puzzles coming up here in this part of the gameplay, because you have to do it in order to open up certain parts of the building to get to.
Maybe you can put that into the school setting too. Like, let me do some puzzling in the school to, I don't know, find items or whatever. Any kind of gameplay.
Dekay Studios, Law Mage is like Harry Potter-ish. So, there's a lot to do based on what class you get, what house you got housed at too. So I don't think you'll be able to implement Law Maze into your game, because there's totally you guys have totally separate games.
It's a different premise, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Law Maze is their thing, and your game is your thing. You know what I mean? So it's can't really grab too much, but I mean, it's not a lot of changes you have to make. I mean, you're definitely on a good verge of having a great game. Don't
You're
get me
on the
wrong.
right track. Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
not.
It's a lot of small things.
Yeah,
that
it's
add
little
up.
small stuff. You're on the right path, my guy. Like, you're more into the story. Like the game is like more into story based material than gameplay actually, because
Which I like. Yeah.
you don't
myself.
really get in a lot of battles like that. Maybe that'll change like in the future, but me personally, I like a balance of everything, gameplay, story, and battle, so you're definitely doing a great job and stuff like that. You're making me proud, my guy. You're making me proud. Even though I can't play the first one because there's no English version. You know what I mean? I don't have to kidnap Harlequin and have him translate the game for me. So
We can just all consider the Americans, man. Learn some German.
I mean, look, how can you put out a nice looking game like this is an upgrade from the first game and not have the first game available in the English language? This is why I always tell people English is the universal language. So if you're going to make a game, put it in English, because you're going to have more English players, especially on an English platform.
Yeah, it's not really a universal language. Like
It's a universal language. All y'all bilingual speak. Oh, hold on. All y'all speak different languages. You speak German. Aces speaks Greek. Everybody else, Nita, everybody speak different language. But your English is, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know you were foreign unless you told me. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah, but
I'm just
that's
being
just
honest.
us. Like, not everybody is like speaking English. Like, there's people like you who say, I don't speak no German, and there's Germans here who say, I don't speak no fucking English.
Look,
Get that
we
shit
got
out of
the
my
French
face.
developer. We got the French developer who stream only in French, playing English games.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. If you make your game in English, you're reaching the most people.
Yeah, and that's
true.
why I told the developer
But-
what he need to do. Translate the first game, because I'm interested in playing the game, like knowing the story. I don't want to read. I don't want to spend an hour reading the. You know what I'm saying? The chapters and about the characters. No, give me the first game with a translated version. That way I could play it.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing, but like you can't say English is a universal language. Like English is not spoken everywhere 100% of the time
it's
either.
not.
English is universal because it's spoken. Everybody speaks it.
It's just not everybody speaks it. It's just because it's a crossover language because of the current last era of history where you had a lot of British the colonies, and you also had a lot of you have American hegemony, and that kind of ends up in business transactions and software and all these areas. It's ended up being programming. It's ended up being English to a large degree. But it's not, it's not. There's no guarantee it's going to stay that way forever. Later when the next big power comes to light, we might be having to learn, Mandarin or something. You never know, right? So, but I do think it's good to translate your game into different languages, and I'm also trying to do that with my game. I've made a lot of progress on that. So, like, to do it in a simple way where you could like give somebody like the text files and say translate this and then save, and then it goes through the game. So I'm excited about that. So international patch coming soon.
Yeah. I said what I said. I said what I said, guys.
Look at the Americans, so entitled that he thinks every game needs to be in English.
Wow.
Man, look at this guy, so entitled, man.
That's
Check
how
your
you.
privilege,
That's how
my
you
guy.
really. That's how you really feel. Okay.
Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that, man.
So, music. The game has some nice tracks too. I feel like I heard tracks that I've heard before. Aaron Krog. He's a free artist. That a lot of RPG Maker players uses music. So I mean, others will agree that music costs a lot of money. Like having your own custom music can break your bank. can probably be the most expensive part of the budget. Not saying that all commercial games need to have their own music, but at the same time, when you're going that trying to be different, you may want to like look at other free music that somebody probably never even heard before and try to apply it to your game. That's my tip. That's what I'm gonna do for my game too. Like I'm looking at music that I know you probably never even heard before, and I'm not even going commercial.
Yeah, what my method on that is I comb any site I can for CC4 by or CC0 music tracks, and I don't even know if a track is good or not. I just go, like, if there's thousands of tracks, I just go play, no. Oh, that one's good, download. No. Oh, that one's good, download. And over time, I try to find these really obscure diamonds in the rough that, I didn't, pay somebody to make custom music for me, but it might as well be just as good because it's not, known about, but it still sounds good, so that's kind of what I try to do. And I save it to my massive music folder, and then it's a scene later. I'm like, what was that track? It's perfect for the scene. And
in the Dekay's defense, he didn't even know other games were using his music. He thought he was just using it exclusively for his game. This is why you got to play other people's games. This is why you got to watch other streamers play game, because you never know. Like, as a developer, you can analyze these other games, and if this developer has this music in the free game and you got the same music, you're like, oh no, I don't know about this. I may need to change this because I didn't even know he was using this, and stuff like that. It's like and the reason why I say this, other people, I played a lot of RPG Maker games, right? And some games stand out to me. If I heard a music from somewhere, I'm going to say, hey man, that's the Lost music. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking it was the Lost original music. Like the battle music, like the boss battle music. But I heard it in other games. Like, I'm like, hold up. This is the Lost music, because I'm so used to hearing that music in that game. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the reason. You could be fooled if you never played the Lost, you won't even know. But the Lost is probably using a lot of your tracks. So that's why I say, music can be definitely important, because it could use to identify your game. Even with simple gaming, like for his battle theme that he be posted on Twitter, I heard that in Trials Cascadia at first, but Trials Cascadia don't use that battle theme no more. So every time I hear that music, I think about Trials. Even though
you're an edge case, though.
Even though, consider that too. Yeah, I'm just one guy. I'm not speaking for the masses, like other people that don't know RPG Maker and never heard of the music. It could be case by case. But me as a developer, knowing that what's out there, I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's the thing, though. We are not the target audience for these games. Like, I'm not making a game for you to play, right?
But so, I love the music, though. I love it. Like I can hum it. It's catchy. It's a great choice. He's using it. But when I hear it, it pops out like, oh man, that game's good.
You associate it with where
you see,
heard it first.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
And don't forget to change the fucking RTP sound effects in your game, man. Those are weak.
There's a debate. There's a debate about the sound effects, though. Like,
I think
there is no debate. Like,
it is a debate. It is a debate. It is a
The
debate.
sound effects in Battleman are fucking whack.
It
There's
is
no
a
debate
Hey,
here.
look. Hey, look. Hey, look. There's a debate. People say, "Oh, it don't sound too bad." Like the punch animate, like the punch sound, the hit sound. People say it don't sound too bad.
and the knock noise.
The knock. Yeah, take that out your game. Take it out your game. You know, I heard people say, "Man, what is that? What is that? What is
You
that?"
got a badass like wolf guy, or slashing people with a scythe, and the hit effect does like, whoosh. Get that shit out of my face, man. That's so weak.
Yeah, he should have like a slash sound, like
man, you need better.
He got
sound
claws.
effects, like,
A wolf got claws. You know what I'm saying? So use them claw sounds, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, come on, y'all been playing RPG Maker games so long. You know what needs to be in there and what not needs to be in there.
Oh,
That's why I keep telling y'all. I stream these games so y'all don't have to do it. So y'all already see these games. Y'all see these games I be playing. I be falling asleep on stream sometimes for you guys. And you still use that same sound effect and the same knock sound. So, I don't know. I'm about to start charging.
Well, now that we're on the subject of sound, one thing we haven't discussed is that this game has voiceovers as well.
Oh, yeah, it does. Oops, I almost forgot.
And I actually thought that most of them were pretty good, actually. I
mean, of course they're good. He stole them from me.
They're horrible. Because I'm not in it. I'm not in it. Go ahead and spend all your money toward these voice actors where you got a free guy over here that could do way better than they can do. Nah, but all jokes aside, I love the voices. The voices are really good. They're really good. They're really good. It just feels weird that sometimes, you hear voice acting, then you don't. I mean, you kind of expect to hear
a money issue.
Yeah, you kind of expect to hear voice act, but given the fact that Final Fantasy, didn't always have the voice acting for some scenes, so I'm gonna give you a pass on that. I'm gonna give you a pass on that one. But it's good though. It's good. I like it.
I mean, for me, like, voice acting has two possible settings. You're either gonna voice everything, or you're gonna voice only the main content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't voice like random NPC chatter, but just like everything concerned to the main story.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean everything, not just cutscenes, everything. If you just do cutscenes, that's not good. Like, either do everything or everything main story.
Cutscenes is fine, bro. Cutscene, you don't gotta do the whole
shit out of here,
bro. You don't gotta do the whole freaking thing, bro. Even the AAA games even the AAA games that you like Elden Ring, they don't voice every freaking thing.
They voice every freaking thing.
No, sir.
What you talking about? There's not a single NPC that's not voiced.
Are you sure about that?
I'm 100% sure about that. I got 1,000 hours in Dark Souls 3, and I'm known by NPCs, my guy.
I'm gonna give you, because I'm not too sure.
Everything is voiced in Dark Souls.
I know the legend. I know Zelda. Everything isn't voice acted.
Yeah, that's also what you can do. You can either have everything
Zelda.
or have nothing, but don't have that weird mix of sometimes. That's not good. Have everything or nothing. Like, the thing with no voiceover is, like, you can give the characters like their own voice in your head, like your own headcanon, so to speak. If you do voice acting, sometimes that goes out the window, because now I know how the character sounds, but I still gotta read all that shit myself. Or you're gonna do just everything, like not just cutscenes. Like, if you played Final Fantasy 14, like, there's just some voice acting in the main story, which is ass. I'm paying $14 every month to play this fucking game, and you don't even have voice acting all the way for the main quest. Like, what's up with that? You're a multi-billion-dollar company. Give me some voice acting. What the fuck?
And the
Same
chat,
with this game.
the chat is calling all these AAA titles fan favorites that has only cutscene voice acting. So
Yeah. Yeah, but they're not favorites because of the voice acting. They're favorites because of the rest of it. Nobody says like, oh, I like how this game is not fully voice acted. Nobody says that.
okay.
So yeah, I would say either voice everything, or at least, if you're on a budget, voice everything along the main story. Every conversation with the blue guy, and so on and so forth. Everything that's important, voice it. You don't need to voice like idle NPC chatter or shit like that. That's okay,
That's
but
not
don't
what he's
have
doing.
this weird mix of sometimes and sometimes not.
I think the developer said that, I don't know if it's not done yet or is he skipping over it. Not sure.
I mean, he said he needed more money to get more voice acting in the game, so that might just be a thing. Maybe
But
it's coming over time, I don't know. It's just right now, see, you voice the intro, which is otherwise a lot of text, and then but you don't voice the planet description, which is the same amount of text. It's a little inconsistent. Like, you voice some things, but not other things, which should be like the description before you go on a planet that has the same look to it as the intro, whereas it's this blob of text and the narrator speaks over it.
Yeah,
But it's not there.
that's when you need to hire voice actors that has multiple voices. That way you get a bundle deal. They could do multiple characters.
Well, the price is the same pretty much. You can just use a different voice actor too. Like that works as well. It's just a little inconsistent right now. I mean, he already said there will be more voices and everything. It's just right now it's a little inconsistent in.
I'm just saying this. Get one guy that does multiple voices and charge him a set price based on voices. He'll give you deals because you're giving him work. Especially if he's somebody.
That's not gonna happen.
Especially he's somebody that's trying to get out there.
That's not how.
What do you mean? Look at Real Tron's game. What are you talking about? Huh?
What's up with his game?
I don't think he paid any of his voice actors, if I ain't mistaken.
Yeah, that can work too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people, there's going to be somebody that's got that talent, but want to get out there.
I'm just saying, your business model is not how it works. Like, you can't just go to a guy and then pay him per voice. Like, freelance voice actors are pretty much always paid per line. That's how freelance voice acting works. But you can, of course, get free voice acting. Like, many voice actors on Twitter will give you free voice lines for as long as you have an original project. Like, if you come and want like an anime fan dub, that's not gonna happen. Nobody cares about that. You can put a fan dub on a resume. But if you have an original game, like we all do, voice actors will work for free if you're lucky. If you ask nice and a nice person, they give you voice lines for free. They can put your game on the resume.
Let me ask a question real quick. I don't know how much. What's the average price for a voice actor to do a line?
I'm paying $3 per line.
Whoo! Good gracious!
And I have 25 voice actors just for the demo.
Good gracious! Oh my God! Boy, I ain't gonna have, man, my game ain't gonna have no text. Good gracious. I'm $3 a line.
At least for now, I've decided to kind of opt out on the voice acting thing, just because.
Really, you can get a lot of free voice acting. Like my Jam game, all that voice acting didn't pay a dime for that.
Chat GPT, voice this for me.
You just gotta ask nice, ask around a little bit. There's plenty of free
I'm
lines
kidnapping.
you could grab.
I'm kidnapping somebody just like that Stephen King movie and have them do voice acting, or you ain't leaving. Like straight up. I ain't lying. Oh my gosh, you almost made me fell out the chair. $3 a line.
It's not much.
So for not a bad spell, that was $3.
No, I didn't pay anything for the voices in
because
the game.
hey, for real though, hey, look, if you make a lot of money off that game, I'm suing you because that's my line. That's my catchphrase, and it's copyrighted.
Oh no, it's not your line because
it is not a bad.
You even complained about it that he only says it once. It's an abbreviation. It's not a fair use case.
Not a bad. That's copyrighted, man. That's copyrighted. No. You got anytime you say "not a bad" in a sentence, you owe me money. I ain't lying. You owe me some bread.
This guy trying to copyright 3-letter words here. Look at that.
Chris William, move around, pay. You always late, my dude. But good to have you here, man. We just chatting it up right now. We pretty much talked about all the topics: the music, the story, the battle system, the mapping. You know, we talked about what the developer can do with the HUD and stuff like that. You are a great developer yourself, so if you got any recommendations that you could give the developer, definitely send them a DM, whatnot. That goes for everybody too. We need to support each other and and help each other out in the RPG Maker community. So do anybody else got anything to say about the game or to the developer?
Yeah, of course I do. I'm not done here.
Go ahead, dude. Go ahead, boy.
As I said, there's a lot of small things that really add up and make this game worse for me. Like, especially like the cutscenes are very bland and very, very boring. There's nothing happening. People just standing there doing nothing, talking to each other, which could be improved. Like, especially if you have this school planet where nothing is happening anyway, you might as well spice up your cutscenes a little bit.
And I agree, the sprites that you got, the low sprite, it got so many different effects and poses. Definitely take advantage, especially like with their hands behind their head and they're thinking and stuff like that. Definitely could apply many different emotions with these type of sprites.
Let them move around and do shit while they're talking. Don't let them just stand there. Like, you could even like zoom in a little bit on the characters. Is what I do when talking to a quest NPC. Like, I zoom in and have the dialogue happening and stuff like that. Just like little things. Because you don't have no busts on the screen, right? You have clear vision of the map where the conversation is happening and nothing happens. So if you had busts that cover like 60% of the screen, that's a different story. Because then your focus is on the busts and their expressions. But you don't have that. So you need to move your characters. You need to have characters with emotions that's not just standing there and doing nothing. It gets better when there's voice acting because you're listening to the voice acting. You're not so much focused on what the characters on the screen actually do. But since you're not having voice acting for everything, kind of needs a little more life to those cutscenes. Oh yeah, and I encountered a game-breaking bug too. Like, there's this one room in the academy, and if you enter that room from any tile that doesn't have the arrow on it, the game ends up in a black screen and still works, but the screen doesn't fade in.
Oh.
So you're stuck with a black screen and have to figure your way out to hit that tile where the transfer actually works.
Oh, that's not good.
That wasn't so great. So I had to reload because I didn't find my way back to the entrance, and that was kind of bad. Yeah, it's a lot of little details and a lot of polish that's needed. I feel like there's so much polish to do to make this game truly good. Right now, it has a good idea and it has like a solid foundation, but I don't know, it's not really great yet. I feel like, aside from the performance problems I obviously had, like there's still a lot to do. I feel, to make this an actual demo, to get out to people and say, hey, here's my demo. Because in my opinion, a demo should be as polished as possible, right? Because you're trying to sell your game with that thing, right? So a player checks out your demo and it's a cool demo, so they buy your game. That's the purpose of a demo in most cases. And I don't think this game has enough polish for that yet. Like, I wouldn't buy this game based on the demo.
You want to buy this game based on the demo?
Yeah, the demo did not make me want to buy the game because of all these small issues I had with it. Like, I had the performance problems, I had the bug, I had the due to the low frame rate I was playing on, the combat animations didn't sync up with the damage numbers and stuff like that. Like, there's a whole lot of smaller jank in there that makes it mediocre at the end of the day. So I wouldn't buy the game because it didn't perform well enough for me.
That's fair argument.
As for me, I saw it as a demo, and I saw it as an incomplete game that I thought has a lot of potential. I thought it was pretty good, actually, but I did notice at the end of the demo that that the game is intended to be coming out in 2024. So my attitude at the end isn't I'll buy this right now. It's I'll see what it looks like in 2024. But I am interested to see it. Like, I will in 2024. I'll check it out again and be like, how did it change? Okay.
Yeah, that might be a thing. But like in the classic sense of a demo, maybe that's not true anymore these days. But depending on what the purpose of your demo is, like, usually you use a demo to make the player buy your game. Because the demo was so great.
For me, it's feedback, because I know that there's things that you're missing when you think you're almost done a lot of times. And,
oh God, don't even get me started, man. I just started redoing all my action sequences. Oh my God, no.
Go redo them.
So, a lot of times, for me, when I release a demo, it's just to get feedback, because you get like there's things that blindside.
That's why we're here, after all.
As the dev, you're trapped in your own box sometimes. So it's good. So it's good to get that feedback. Oh, and then when you finally do release your game, it'll hit a lot harder because the little details have been worked out. Instead.
Yes. Yeah. That's all good. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? We want to give feedback, but we're also doing how much would you pay for this game. So that's why I'm saying, as for right now, this demo would not make me buy the game.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, we're here for the feedback for the most part. Yeah, okay. Agree on that.
I mean, that's fair. As a consumer, you have every right to purchase or deny and stuff like that. And this is why we have these type of discussions. It's because it gets the developer. The developer can know, what is stopping their game, what could be a hindrance for their game. But we're just a group of individuals that has our own opinion, so the developer at the end of the day has the ability to listen to us or not listen to us and just go on about developing their game. That's a great thing about being in the RPG Maker community, is you get feedback, you receive it, or you don't. So
not all feedback needs to be considered to change the game. Absolutely.
Yeah, but the game, like, visually, it looks amazing, stuff like that, and it's just a lot of little small stuff.
A lot of polish needs to happen, I feel.
Yeah. And he did say that he did make a lot of fixes, a lot of changes. Not sure if this is the version with the changes, but I could definitely look at the game. The game looks really good visually. Gameplay looks good. The puzzles are well thought of and stuff like that. I mean, there's some stuff that I had nitpicks about. It's just I believe that we mostly covered all that and stuff like that, but Just gotta give him good luck on this journey. Good luck on your journey, my guy, and don't give yourself too much. What more than you can handle, you know? So don't want you to get burnt out on your game, you know, or discouraged, you know, because that's not our goal, and you know it's not. You know it's not. So. You know that's not our goal, man. Our goal is to make better game devs of you. That's all.
I also put like most of my feedback into the like forum post, right, but without giving my opinion because that's obviously for the stream. But I did make screenshots and videos from the like bugs and inconsistencies I found and dialogue changes and typos and whatnot, because we can't cover like every dialogue box on this stream. So what I do for games that I like enjoyed or I'm connected to like the developer or something, I go a little bit of extra step and put my feedback on there too, with like screenshots as good as I can, instead of just doing the stream. Like for games like the fucking account thing, I'm not gonna do that, of course, but yeah, for nice developers that I'm known to, I might do that too.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, that's what RTP is. Rarely typical players. You know, you rarely get somebody to play your game, which is true. You rarely do within this community, because it's a lot of games that's like goes under the radar, and unfortunately we're small timers, we're small guys, and a lot of our games is going under the radar. So we definitely want to change that, and you know, and get it out there and get all the help and feedback that we can get to developers. So Psychronic, any last words you want to say about the game to the developer?
I just want to say I'm looking forward to checking it out in 2024, and I thought that the concept of it was unique. I liked the variety and settings. You don't normally see that, so I felt like there's something here for everybody. It's got a good like foundation, although there's just a lot of little details that need to be, you know, as Simple Gaming said, polished out a little better. But I think the fundamentals are there, and you're on the right track, and keep doing it.
Yeah, he's doing this thing right now. Like, just looking at the battle system, it's a lot going on. Looks great. Looks freaking great. So, all right, guys, before we close out, you know, I just like to thank you guys for just showing up, and just for a little fun. This is a commercial game. This is a commercial game, soon to be commercial game in 2024. We like to put a price on the game, you know, before we leave and stuff like that. It could be from free all the way to $100. You know, depends on, you know, what we feel like we should price the game. So I'm going to start with not Simple Gaming, Psychronic Games.
Okay, so this is where we get into a little bit of the territory of what would I pay now versus what would I pay when it's done and it's better, or theoretically. So I think that if they get it done and it's like decently long and the little things are worked out, I'd say $7.99, $8.99. As it currently stands,
7 or 8.
I'd probably say like $3.99.
So what we going with? What we going with? $3.99?
For its current, for the state that it's currently in, yes.
Holy cow! All right, so I'm going for the completed price. I'm going for completed. The game looks like it's been cared. You know, it's my style of game. Action sequencing everywhere. Nice animations. Map looks good. You know, the story is intriguing. You know, the puzzles was fun. The voice acting is a plus. So, you know, I could see the improvement with the weather. The rain is not so heavy anymore. So the developer definitely put some care into it. So I'm for a full completed game. This game could go easily $15.99 in my book. I will pay $15.99 for this game. And the
Okay.
resident German. What would you price this in current state or completed state?
Well, for one, I wouldn't be a customer of this game in general. I wouldn't buy it,
Lord,
no matter
Lord.
what. Mainly because I'm not a friend of these split up stories.
Okay.
Right? I like single character games actually. Like I like to be a single protagonist in my RPGs. So having not only one party of already multiple people, but having like 3 or more disconnected stories with different people every time makes it hard for me to get attached to any of them. So it's not really my style of game. I don't enjoy that. But the moment to moment like gameplay is good. Like I like the combat system, and the puzzles from what I've seen on the screen here seem fine. Like it's not too hard. It's a little bit of a how does this work? And it takes like 3 minutes or so to like figure it out and get that aha moment. That's pretty good. I don't like it when the puzzles in RPG are needlessly hard for no reason. Like I don't think they fit in there. Then like if you take Zelda for example, the puzzles are never hard. They give you a little bit of a moment where you have to think about it, but you figure it out fairly quick. And that's how it should be in an RPG. I feel if I wanted hard puzzles, I'd play a puzzle game.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I wouldn't buy it simply because of the disconnected stories and stuff like that. That's not really my cup of tea. But I will say a completed Leyline Chronicles 2 with all the polish it can have and everything, at least $15, at least, if not 20.
What we
as
going
for the
with?
stage, we can go with that. Like, and for the state right now, as I said, I wouldn't buy it because it just has too many issues for me. Like I can't even play it on like 60 FPS anyway. So
So we're
right
going with
now-
$15.
yeah, 15 or more for me for a finished Leyline.
And for me, finished, I believe I said $9.99 or $8.99. I'll go with $9.99.
All right, so we're gonna do the finished product.
But I will say that I did actually like this game, and I do like stories where you've got different protagonists and all that type of stuff. And like for me, that type of storytelling, I actually do it in my game too, so it doesn't bother me one bit. But yeah, like if I was looking at this on Steam and somebody said it's good, it's my friend got this, it's a good game, blah blah blah, I would probably pay $9.99.
Yeah, I love the fact that you are able to choose a world, that's befitting to you. Definitely brings you back to like the Saga Frontier, games where
which I liked. I liked those games.
yeah, you could choose. In the beginning, it was 8 people. They all meet up at some point, which you could see in this game. That's what's going to happen. They're going to meet up, and you get the backstory for each world. The shortest world was the best world, and that was Kosis. With Levi, that was really short. You could probably finish that within less than an hour. But the game, it has its strengths, its weaknesses. This world right here is pretty good. It has, the Maya girls, very excellent battler. I just love her move set and her combo set. So you have really unique characters. You took what was free, and made the most out of it. I mean, in like the free sprites and stuff like that, you made the most out of them. So definitely good choice, to keep your budget nice and snug. So all together is $40.98. So an average of 3 individuals with nothing to do, it comes out to $18. So $18 is the average price for this game, which is pretty fair for what we got. And there's a prequel to this game as well that can, give the potential players, some future players, more stuff to do. You could definitely see the evolution that this developer has gone through. I believe the original had chibi sprites, and different mapping. This one he upgraded his game and stuff like that. So definitely an individual that cares about their project and stuff like that. So we us from the RTP community want to wish you the best of luck and keep grinding and just keep doing what you can. So those who aren't part of the Discord, you can definitely join our Discord where we just mingle and talk about our games, and we help each other with games as well. We have community power going on in that game where we help each other with optimizations. There's plugins for MV that can optimize your game, make it run better, better frame rates and stuff like that. Or if you got problems with action sequencing or mappings or just script calls for your game, we have knowledgeable folks in that Discord can definitely help you. We're like a RPG beta tester 2.0, but better. We're better and stuff like that, and we mean serious business. So definitely, if you're not part of the Discord, we have the link in the description. And also, if you want to play this excellent game, I got the link in the description. Definitely play it. I believe you guys will enjoy it. You guys will get ideas probably for your project. If you're using FSM and low sprite, you could definitely get some ideas playing this game. I know there's a couple ideas that I'm going to steal and put into my own project. So I'm just letting you know. Backgrounds, copy. Battle bats, copy. Voice acting, copy. Everything's copy and going in my game. That's how good it looks. So thank you guys for just stopping by and just hanging out. And before we leave, we got 19 votes. I asked you guys what was your rating on this game. 37% says excellent. 53% says above average. 11% says average. And 0% says poor. So people like your game, Dekay Studio. People think that you are a strong, above average developer. And I would say, based on the numbers, probably 12 people said that you were these things. That's good. That's good. Above average is really good. That's something to be proud about and to boast about. So let's try to get excellent though. Let's try to get more excellent numbers and definitely keep the RTP crew updated with the game development. So before we leave, do any of my co-hosts has anything to say before we head out and go eat some food and some hamburgers, cheeseburgers, some French fries, and
I'm good, dude. I'm just looking forward to the next one.
All right.
Yep, we good. D7 already said everything that needed to be said.
All right, guys. So definitely like the video, and if you're not following or subscribe, definitely hit that subscribe button. Until next week, we will see you later. Y'all peace out, and we hope to see you in the Discord. See you later.